There are a variety of species of animals, but most of them are extinct. So you think that what is extinction? So extinction is the termination of the animal species that are no longer on the earth. The moment of extinction is generally considered to be the death of the last individual of the species, although the capacity to breed and recover may have been lost before this point. Because a species' potential range may be very large, determining this moment is difficult, and is usually done retrospectively. More than 99% of all species that ever lived on Earth, amounting to over 5 billion species, are estimated to have died out. It is estimated that there are currently around 8.7 million species of eukaryote globally, and possibly many times more if microorganisms, like bacteria, are included. Notable extinct animal species include non-avian dinosaurs, saber-toothed cats, dodos, mammoths, ground sloths, thylacines, trilobites, and golden toads. So you are watching Green Greetings, and today we are going to discuss top 5 animal species that are extinct from the earth. So let's start the video. Number 1, the Bramble K. Melomys. The Bramble K. Melomys, or Bramble K. mosaic-tailed rat, is a recently extinct species of rodent in the family Muridae and subfamily Murinae. It was an endemic species of the isolated Bramble K, a vegetated coral K located at the northern tip of the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Described by researchers as having last been seen in 2009, and declared extinct by the Queensland Government and University of Queensland researchers in 2016, it was formally declared extinct by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in May 2015 and the Australian Government in February 2019. Having been the only mammal endemic to the reef, its extinction was described as the first extinction of a mammal species due to anthropogenic climate change. The Australian Government's Department of the Environment and Energy formally recognised the extinction of the Bramble K. Melomys on February 18, 2019. The state government of Queensland report stated that the likely cause of extinction was inundation of the island multiple times during the last decade, leading to habitat loss for the species and possibly also direct mortality. The sea level had been estimated to have risen by 0.6 cm every year between 1993 and 2010, while the incidence of large increases in sea level, associated with cyclonic storms, have also increased. Number 2, the Baiji dolphin. The Baiji is a possibly extinct species of freshwater dolphin, and is thought to be the first dolphin species driven to extinction due to the impact of humans. Since Baiji means whitefin in Chinese, it means whitefin dolphin. In China, the species is also called the Chinese river dolphin, Yangtze river dolphin, Yangtze dolphin, and whitefin dolphin. Nicknamed the goddess of the Yangtze, it was regarded as the goddess of protection by local fishermen and boatmen. The Baiji population declined drastically in decades as China industrialized and made heavy use of the river for fishing, transportation, and hydroelectricity. It has been credibly claimed, after surveys in the Yangtze River during the 1980s, that Baiji could be the first dolphin species in history that humans have driven to extinction. A conservation action plan for cetaceans of the Yangtze River was approved by the Chinese government in 2001. Efforts were made to conserve the species, but a late 2006 expedition failed to find any Baiji in the river. Organizers declared the Baiji functionally extinct. The Baiji represents the first documented global extinction of a megafaunal vertebrate in over 50 years since the demise of the Japanese sea lion and the Caribbean monk seal in the 1950s. It also signified the disappearance of an entire mammal family of river dolphins. The Baiji's extinction would be the first recorded extinction of a well-studied cetacean species to be directly attributable to human influence. Number 3, the Quagga. The Quagga was a subspecies of the plains zebra that lived in South Africa until hunted to extinction late in the 19th century by European settler colonists. It was long thought to be a distinct species, but early genetic studies have supported it being a subspecies of plains zebra. A more recent study suggested that it was the southernmost cline or ecotype of the species. The name comes from the Quagga language and is thought to be derived from its call, which sounded like Quagga. After the Dutch settlement of South Africa began, the quagga was extensively hunted, as it competed with domesticated animals for forage. Some were taken to zoos in Europe, but breeding programs were unsuccessful. The last wild population lived in the Orange Free State. The quagga was extinct in the wild by 1878. The last captive specimen died in Amsterdam on August 12, 1883. Only one quagga was ever photographed alive, and only 23 skins are preserved today. In 1984, the quagga was the first extinct animal whose DNA was analyzed. The Quagga project is trying to recreate the phenotype of hair coat pattern and related characteristics by selectively breeding the closest subspecies, which is Burchell's zebra. Number 4, the Pyrenean Ibex. The Pyrenean Ibex was one of 4 subspecies of the Iberian Ibex. The first to become extinct was the Portuguese Ibex in 1892. The Pyrenean Ibex was the second, with the last individual, a female called Celia, found dead in 2000. In the Middle Ages, Pyrenean Ibex were very abundant in the Pyrenees region, but decreased rapidly in the 19th and 20th centuries due to hunting pressure. In the second half of the 20th century, only a small population survived in the Ardesa National Park situated in the Spanish Central Pyrenees. Competition with domestic and wild ungulates also contributed to the extinction of the Pyrenean Ibex. Much of its range was shared with sheep, domestic goats, cattle, and horses, especially in summer when it was in the high mountain pastures. This led to interspecific competition and overgrazing, which particularly affected the Ibex in dry years. In addition, the introduction of non-native wild ungulate species in areas occupied by the Ibex increased the grazing pressure, as well as the risk of transmission of both native and exotic diseases. The last natural Pyrenean Ibex, a female named Celia, was found dead on January 6, 2000. Although her cause of death is known, the reason for the extinction of the subspecies as a whole is a mystery. Some hypotheses include the inability to compete with other species for food, infections, and diseases, and poaching. The Pyrenean Ibex became the first taxon ever to become on July 30, 2003, when a cloned female Ibex was born alive and survived for several minutes, before dying from lung defects. Number 5, Schomburgk deer. The Schomburgk deer was a member of the family Cervidae. Native to central Thailand, Schomburgk deer was described by Edward Blyth in 1863 and named after Sir Robert H. Schomburgk, who was the British consul in Bangkok from 1857 to 1864. It is thought to have gone extinct by 1938, but there is speculation that the deer might still exist. Commercial production of rice for export began in the late 19th century in Thailand, leading to the loss of nearly all grassland and swamp areas on which this deer depended. Intensive hunting pressure at the turn of the century restricted the species further until it became extinct. The wild population of Schomburgk deer is thought to have died out because of overhunting by 1932, with the last captive individual being killed in 1938. The species was listed as extinct in the 2006 IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. However, some scientists consider the species to be still extant.